In his 1984 film Water Walker, Bill Mason says,
"There was a time when I was just fascinated with the history of the voyageurs. I read that stuff and I imagined that I was a voyageur paddling across the country and carrying hundreds of pounds of furs and trade goods and things like that. I dreamed about retracing all the voyageur routes and
I have to admit to sharing this ambition at one point in my life. Probably every young man dreams of heading out into the world and just wandering around for a few years. The thing is that Eric Morse actually did this and wrote a lot of it down in his book, Fur Trade Canoe Routes of Canada, Then and Now. Since he seems to have been familiar with the influential paddlers of the time, the foreword was written by then Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Many other authors have made the effort to document in detail the fur trade era by writing about the history of the Hudson Bay Company, for example. This is not that kind of book, as it is deliberately less complex and primarily describes the canoe routes themselves in practical terms. Since I work as an engineer and am accustomed to such things, the general textbook style is understandable, but it makes for dry reading. There is not much story, and this is mostly a useful accounting of practical reference material accumulated from historical records of the fur trade era. The book would be most useful to those who are actually planning to paddle across the country in a single season, because it contains a lot of useful details about the relevant rivers. For example, the final chapter discusses the company's failed attempts to cross the Rocky Mountains. I purchased this book through a fundraiser for the Friends of Des Moines River, so as you can see here, it is signed from Eric W. Morse to Wally Shaber.